Hace frío.
So,
Tengo miedo a las alturas.
no pegues en la ventana que nos van a regañar.
¿Y eso quieres que pongan en YouTube?
Mira las cuevas.
¿De verdad?
¿Ya las viste?
Ah, sí, ya las... ¡Ay! Apenas me choqué.
Jocelyn se quiere tirar de ella. Pero ya cuando esté arriba va a tener miedo. Así estabas en el juego de la feria.
¿Verdad?
Primero te subiste y después ya tenías miedo. Cuando se volteó de cabeza. Y acá anda la doña de la casa.
Espérenme.
Salúdame, mamá.
Primera pregunta.
Vámonos. ¿Por qué me quitas? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Sí se ve?
No. Es que quiero una moneda. Quiero una moneda.
¿No traigo una moneda?
Ya la escuché. No, pero sí tiene. Y dice. ¡Ay!
¿Ahora dónde vamos?
A comer. ¡Nachos!
¿Qué?
¡Nachos! Buenos días, conocerlo, señor.
Aquí nos encontramos a los familiares de mi esposa.
Y ya se le identifica.
Ahí está el menú.
¿Qué quieren comer? ¿Qué quieren comer? Nachos, pretzel, hot dog, o wings. O los popcorn.
Hey, you're...
¿Dónde está tu mamá? ¿Por qué te escondes atrás de mí?
Nachos, nachos. ¿Quieren nachos, nachos? ¿Tienes nachos? No.
¿Qué está comiendo?
Mira, hay chiros y nachos. Yo estoy comiendo hot Cheetos con el queso de los nachos.
Papas con queso. Yo me voy a comer este hot dog de $10.
Y nos vamos a tomar este Sprite y esta coca. ¿Sí es coca?
So please don't touch the cave walls or any of the formations.
All right, I'm gonna have you guys step here. I need to squeeze that way to open the gates. Fantastic. And you can follow me this way.
Wow.
Oh, no lo he visto. Mira una cueva acá.
Hija, ¿ya viste acá abajo?
Una cueva. Wow.
¿Te gusta? ¿En serio?
Frío.
In here. So first off, if you look up at the ceiling along this big crack, you're going to see some very cool formations. These ones are known as stalactites. Now you can remember they're called stalactites because they hold tightly to the ceiling. The ones underneath those down on the ground here are called stalagmites. And you can remember stalagmites because they might one day grow to the ceiling. And then just behind you folks, one of my favorites is the formation on this back wall. Now this stuff is known as flowstone. Now we call it flowstone because it looks like flowing stone, and we're just that creative. Crawl through all of these passageways. So if you look up along the walls, you can see the rough spot where it meets the smooth and the limestone. That is where the original cave floor was, about 5 feet above your heads. Now back in the 1970s, we did something called cave pushing, where we took all that loose dirt and rock you see in front of you and pushed it out of our cave and back into these corners to make room for our walking passageways so that we don't have to crawl through here anymore. Now, way up on the ceiling, you can see these black marks. Now, those marks were left behind from candle smoke. Now, so those first tours were carrying candles through for light, and they were told that it was very important or imperative that they blew out their candles there before climbing the very flammable rope ladder. Now, if you look just next to that ladder, you can see more of our formations hanging down. The ones on the ceiling there are called ribbon stalactites. However, most of us just call it cave bacon. Because it looks like bacon.
Oh, mira eso. Ajá. Mira. Sí, oye las personas de arriba por ese ojo.
All right, so this is Coral Dome. So on top you can see our largest pieces of that cave floor. These are so much bigger than eggs.
All right, so this room is known as our Temple of Silence. Now this is the highest room in our cave. Looking all the way up to those top formations, those are only about 20 to 30 feet from the surface. Now looking just beneath there, you can see our Colorado cave bacon. And underneath that, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And if you draw your attention all the way to the bottom, you can see the large stalactite and stalagmite. Now those two formations used to be formed and connected together into a formation known as a column. However, a few million years ago, we had a mudslide that broke it off. So we've now called it the Romeo and Juliet, because they're never getting back together.
Oh,
everyone's picture.
Fantastic. All right, for my group, as you pass by, you can see the very nice lettering pasted on the wall here. Now, that was put there back in 1935 to thank and commemorate a very important person to us named George Jeffries. Now, George Jeffries helped with a lot of the excavation and exploring throughout our cave and helped us discover many of the deeper sections of our cave. So to thank and commemorate him, the original owners pasted his favorite poem onto the wall. Now, as we pass by, you're going to see a very shiny formation down here. Now, this one is known as Pickett's Column. And the reason why it is so shiny is not water. That's hand oil. So on the first cave tours, people were encouraged to rub this for good luck. So what you're actually looking at is 100-year-old hand oil. So you shouldn't touch it. It's gross. Now, this is the same reason why we ask you not to touch the other formations throughout our cave. Same thing happens with the oils inside of our hands. It'll get soaked up by this very porous rock. When that mineral-rich water leaks down from the ceiling, it will no longer deposit any minerals because this formation is dead. It's never going to grow again. Of course, oil and water don't mix.
Sorry. Mira, allí, toma una foto.
All right, so as we pass by, you can look back into the passageway back here. You're going to see a very interesting formation known as our Oriental Village. Now, we call it that because if you have a good imagination, you might be able to see houses or even people in those stalagmites. And of course, right up front, you can see one of the largest stalactites in Cave of the Winds. Now, that one stands about 8.5 feet long, and according to our scientists, would have taken anywhere between 200 and 300,000 years to form. So it is also one of the oldest formations in the cave. Now, of course, after you look at that, you can look above your heads and see these ones. Now, you'll notice that these ones are still intact. They have not been broken off by the original tours, mostly because they just couldn't reach them. All right. Formation a good rub. We did cut it off. And go ahead and pass that to the people behind you. Let them know you can touch it.
This one over here.
You got
Oh, it looks all waxy.
I know.
¿Te ha gustado?
Mira. Sí.
¿Sí?
Hay un foco ahí, ¿no? Sí.
No.
Formations. Those ones are known as white beaded stalactites. Now, furthermore, if you look up into the very top of this room, you're going to see another interesting thing, a light bulb that is not lit up. That is because it is part of the original lighting system that we put inside of our cave. So this light bulb up here is over 100 years old. It was put in 1907. So it's very, very cool. So definitely look at that. All right, so as we pass by, you're going to see on your right-hand side a very strange wall of junk. Now, back on the original tours going through in the 1880s, people were encouraged to take something shiny out of their pockets, maybe a few hairpins or some coins, and toss them up here. Now, if they got them to stay on that ledge, it was said to give you 1 year of good luck. However, if you threw something up and knocked something onto the ground, you would then get 2 years of bad luck. Now, of course, we no longer do this, which is why we have the very lovely brown bin in front of the ledge. If you throw some coins at that brown bin and you make it in, it goes directly to our local volunteer fire department and is said to give you good luck, or at least make you feel better. And of course, if you miss the brown bucket as you throw them in, bad luck.
Up, babe.
No, hijo.
So I'm gonna have you guys go past me. Just stop at the rock wall down here.
Hijo, tienes que tener cuidado ahora, ¿me?
Papi, ¿qué hay arriba?
Una cueva.
Pero hay algo allá que se parece a oro.
No.
No, allá arriba no. Mira, aquí no. Una cueva allá al lado, papi. Mira, allá. Es algo verde que hay allá.
Go against the rock wall down here and look straight up into this passageway. You're going to see a very interesting thing known as our Zephyr's Dome. Now we call it that because of the very beautiful dome patterns up there. Those dome patterns were actually created through pressurized water. So a long time ago, we had a large amount of water that would flow through our cave. It would come running down this steep passageway here, run into the denser forms of limestone, and start to boil upwards into that hole, carving out those very strange dome patterns.
Wow. Mira.
All right, I'm going to stay over here. We're going to have another tour here coming down.
Right side.
All right, Mike, we're going to stay to the right-hand side as we go up.
Ya pasamos por aquí, ¿no?
You can hand them back to me.
Estamos saliendo ya.
¿Cuánto?
¿Cuánto cuesta?
Esta cuesta $10. Pero aquí admirando las piedras, venimos a ver que esta piedra aquí cuesta $8,695 con 95 centavos.
Mira, esta roca.
Sí, a ver, párate al lado de esa roca para ver qué tan grande está. Wow, está carísima.
Este lado.
Esta piedrita cuesta $25.
Mira la roca de allá.
Esa cuesta $2,700.
Tengo aretes, me parezco a ti. Mira, pa, en verdad son magnets. No sabía que existían rositas, mi favorito color.
Es un candle, mira, acá tiene adentro la vela.
Oh, qué bonito.
It's a candle. How much is it? $20.
Dos. Y me llamo también las
Pero creo que no pueden por
Ya salimos de la cueva, ¿te gustó?
Sí.
¿No te gustó?
Sí.
¿Y a ti te gustó ahora?
Sí.
¿Sí? ¿Cómo te la pasaste?
Bien. Ahora
Y allá va la señora, que no nos espera. Mucho gente, pero vamos a ir acá afuera para que vean antes de irnos. ¿Te gustó?
Me encantó.
Sí.
una moneda. La otra vez tú tuviste una.
Y así es como se ve desde acá arriba todo. Aquí. Aram, espera, hijo.
Uy, todas te las dan nuevas.
¿Qué vas a hacer?
¡Ver por allá!
Ay, no puedo. Ay. Ayúdame.
Quítate los lentes.
Toma.
Córrele que se te va el tiempo.
No veo nada.
Mijo, pues tienes que ver para abajo. ¿Qué te pareció? ¿Qué es eso que agarraste?
Es un imán,
No es un imán, es una roca.
pero es imán. ¡Imán! ¡La espada de imán!
¿Ya quedaste bonita? ¿Para la foto?
No, hay mucho aire.
¿Dónde nos vamos a tomar la foto?
Pero para allá.
Aquí. Así. Ey, ¿y tus lentes? Oh. Toma. Mija, bájate de ahí, yo salí. Allá hay alguien caminando hasta allá abajo.
Con toda la banda.
Toda la bandera.
Oh, ahorita, la foto.
¿Ya lo traes? Y ya nos vamos a salir.
Mi teléfono. Digo mis lentes.
Y van a tratar de subir otra vez allá.
Mira, no lo grabaste para allá.
Allá, mira. Toda esta piedra. Está todo esto por aquí. ¿Dónde?
Aquí.
Aquí venimos a ver cómo se ve la orilla. Acá estamos. Ahí está la carretera. Y aquí está una niña greñuda. Vamos a cruzar esta calle. Ahora, no pasa nada, mijo.
Somos venados, pa.
Si te portas mal,
Mi madrina. Digo, la madrina de Saneli.
cuidado que viene el carro. Mira, hasta para este lado.
Somos venados.
¿Ustedes ya no van a alcanzar, Eva?
No, yo creo no más viene por mirar la vista.
Allá se ve.
Cuando sea grande, quiere escalar todas las montañas del mundo.
Vas a tardar mucho tiempo.
No, se ven bien fácil.
Pero todas las del mundo. Eso tarda mucho tiempo.
Y voy a hacer récord.